eBay sellers, it's Suzanne A. Wells. Thanks for coming back for another video. And today I want to talk about the false prophets, Prophet, of eBay, and prove to you that some of these people who are advising you on YouTube have no idea how to do eBay. And I've been doing this a really long time, and I just want to speak up and get you to think about what you're listening to and watching and make your own decisions. So what I've been seeing over the past maybe 6 to 12 months are people coming onto YouTube to document their eBay journey. And I think it's great that they are getting into eBay and learning it and whatever they're doing, leaving their job or starting a retirement business. I have no problem with that. Sharing information is wonderful. Where we get into trouble is when these folks start to advise you on how to do things. And the reason I'm doing this video is because this week I've had 3 people come to me and say they got suspended or their account is compromised in some way, because it's below standard because they were doing things that so-and-so on YouTube is talking about. So I know that there are people out there that are misadvising, and because they don't know the business, and this isn't something you can learn in 6 months. So let me just go over some things that you should be looking for before you take anybody's advice, because the internet's a great place. Anybody can make a video and say whatever they want and not have to back it up. I am all about proof. I am all about the research. And I have been doing this business since 2003 every single day, not just here and there. I show you my store. You can see what I've been doing. So the first thing I want to say, and I have my notes because I don't want to forget anything, look at how experienced the person is. Get their store name, and if they won't tell you their store name, that's your first red flag that this is a problem. You should be sharing this information. I've shared my store name since the beginning, Atlanta Golf Shop. If you go look at it now, I'll put a link below the video. I am not a huge seller. I've never been a huge seller. My claim to fame in the eBay community is consistency and continual learning. I do have a second store. I don't publish that, but I do publish my first store and my store with the longest reputation that's been out there the longest time. So find out, how long have they been a seller? If they just started selling 6 months ago, they shouldn't be giving you advice. They're still learning, and anybody in this business knows that you continue to learn every single day. You have never learned at all. There's one person on YouTube that I have checked out that is relatively new, and this person is trying to build an eBay channel, a YouTube channel, an eBay store, information products, just about 25 different things at once. And so I checked out this person's store, and there are errors all over it. Their listings aren't even mobile optimized. The font on their mobile listings are like, you can't even read it, it's so small. Their titles are not optimized. They are not following eBay policy. Some of these people, this one in particular, has had a Vero violation. And so you've got to be careful who you're listening to. Do they even know the rules? So in a lot of cases, no. Also, are they talking about sales or are they talking about profit? 2 very different things. And anybody that's followed me knows I only talk about profit, because you could have $10,000 in sales a month, but if your profit's only $1,000, is that even worth doing? So sales mean nothing. Profit is what matters. Profit is the thing that's going to keep you from going out of business. It's not your sales numbers. It's your profit. So are these people sharing their profit numbers, and are they accurate? The next thing you need to look at is, where did this person come from? A lot of these newbies in the eBay world come from either sales or retail backgrounds. And while that can be good, eBay is not the same as a retail store. It's very different. The same rules don't apply. Pricing is done through experimentation on eBay. eBay requires a lot of following your hunches, following your intuition, experimenting. It's not like when you go to work for Macy's and they say, our profit is this, we buy our products at this, we sell them at this, our turnover should be this. eBay is very different. You cannot streamline this the same way a retail store does, because you're getting all your merchandise from different places, paying different prices for it, selling things from all different categories. It's not like Macy's clothing department where you're buying everything at a set price and you want to sell it at a set price, and you have very specific ways to do that. eBay does not work that way. And for people coming from a sales background, they cannot understand why they're trying to make this formula. If I have this many items and they sell for this much, then I'm going to make this much money forever. And it just doesn't work that way. You have ups and downs. Things on eBay change, rules change, products are no longer allowed. It's a constant evolution. So anybody that's coming on YouTube trying to cookie cutter an eBay business and tell you to do this, 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 and this, and you will make this, they have no idea what they're talking about. Also in retail, they have the 3-month rule where something should only be on the sales floor for 3 months. People bring that mentality into eBay, and eBay has no seasons. People from all over the world, in all different climates, in all different economic situations, buy on eBay every day. So if you think your inventory is going to sell through in 3 months, you are sadly mistaken. I've had things that sell after 2 years. That's just the way it works. It's not something you can boil down to a formula or an equation. It is 90% experimentation. And if you don't have that, the guts to do that, if you're not willing to take a risk to figure it out, then eBay is not for you, because there is never going to be a formula where you're going to be able to say A plus B plus C minus D equals E. It's never going to work like that. Also, some of these folks coming onto YouTube, they're doing like 5 new things at a time. They're doing eBay. They're doing YouTube, trying to make money on the ads there. They're doing storage unit auctions. They're, doing all these different things, trying to run a Facebook group, trying to do stuff on Instagram, trying to, start all these side businesses, information products. And, what are they doing? You can't build 5 businesses at one time in 6 months. It's just never going to work. So, I just want to show you that I have been called an eBay expert, but I've never called myself that. So I'm going to show you some things where I have been in the press over my time being an eBay teacher, and show you my credentials. Why should I be on YouTube talking about eBay? Well, first of all, it's a passion for me. It's a calling. I would do eBay every day, even if I didn't get paid, because I love it. It is fun. I love the customers. I love the process. I love finding things. It's almost like, oh, I found this thing at Goodwill for $3 and I sold it for $50, and I feel like I got away with something, and I can do something that other people don't know how to do, and it is a calling. So I started a blog in 2007, and the reason I started that blog was because I had been selling on eBay for about 4 years. I had lost my job and went through a divorce at the same time. It was the 3rd time I had been downsized out of a job, and I just decided I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to get a regular job because I don't want to have to go through this again. So I was like figuring out what to do, and I started putting some things up for sale on eBay, only because my neighbor told me not to have a garage sale. She's like, just sell it on eBay. You can make money every day. And what's eBay? So I went and figured that out. And the first thing I sold for $80, and it was just something that was in my basement that I wasn't even using. I was hooked after that. My first month, I made $1,500 profit just selling stuff around my house. And the next month I made a little more, and the next month I made a little more, and I said, I'm just going to do this on purpose. And this was before there were all the books on eBay. It was before Facebook. It was before you had all these information products about how to do it. It was just figure it out. So that's what I did. And people started to notice, what's Suzanne doing? Selling all this used stuff, and why is she always going to Goodwill and stuff like that. And they'd come in my house and see the clothes everywhere. And so they started asking a bunch of questions. So I started answering them on email. And I had all these emails I was copying and pasting and sending to all these different people. And somebody said, why don't you just put it on a blog and everybody can read it? And I was like, what's a blog? So I figured out how to set up a blog. And my first post was in March of 2007. And I started writing on that and just sharing information with people to try and help other mostly stay-at-home moms make a little money like I was doing. I was in Atlanta. There was no way I could get all the stuff that was out there. There was just too much, and it dawned on me, well, other people could be buying this and making money too, and I'll tell them how to do it. So I started writing a blog. I still write on it today. It has, I think, 800 and something posts. So I did that. Then YouTube came along. I started putting a few videos up on YouTube. That was in 2007. So I started posting there. Then Facebook came along in 2008, and I started a group which exists today with over 25,000 people in it, eBay sellers around the world. Took advantage of that platform. Pinterest came along in 2012. I took advantage of that platform. I'm on Twitter. That came along as a way to communicate with people. So all of this evolved naturally for me. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and an eBay business and a Twitter account and buy storage unit auctions and teach people how to sell. It was an evolution, a natural, organic evolution of how I got here today to be this person that teaches others how to sell. So as I was doing all of this, the media started to recognize me. And so here's a magazine that I was in. This is called eBay Life. It's out of Australia. And this was 2010. I don't know if you can be able to see this. The date there is 2010 over on the right. And the article is about useful websites. So this was in Australia, and here's the article, and there's me, eBay selling coach, talking about my blog, okay? So a magazine, eBay Life, in Australia, found me on the internet, wrote an article. Okay, the next thing is eBay Life again in 2012. And they actually just republished the same article because guess what? I was still there. And so there I am again, eBay selling coach, Suzanne Wells, the eBay coach. And that was an article about me there. Another example is I was in Money magazine. And this was May of 2013, here at the top. And they actually called me on the phone for this interview, and they were talking about how to get the best price for your cast-offs. And here I am quoted right here at the top here, Suzanne Wells, blah, 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 and what I said there. So Money Magazine says I know a lot about eBay. Then we have this magazine called All You. This is, I know it's sold at Walmart, I'm not sure, in Target. I'm not sure where else it's sold. But this was March of 2013. Okay, and they interviewed me for spring cleaning. right here. So at the very bottom, it says right here, Suzanne Wells, contributed to this article. Okay, so there I am on that one. And then in 2013, again, Woman's World. The cover story was Make Big Bucks on eBay. Mega seller moms share rags to riches tricks. This was also a phone interview, and I will do a shout out to Sonia Lee Hahn, who is in my Facebook group. They interviewed her too. And then here's me over here talking about selling clothing. And that was in 2013. So I've also been interviewed by Forbes. I've been on podcasts, radio shows, eBay radio many times. So that is where my credibility comes from. When I'm telling you these things, I have a long history of credibility and being recognized by the media for knowing what I'm talking about. So, again, I just wanted to put this out there to be careful who you listen to, because just because someone has a flashy YouTube channel with lots of fun graphics and they can, they know how to make videos, does not mean they know how to give advice on eBay. So do your due diligence. Check these people out. There are a lot of smart people out there who have blogs, who make YouTube videos, and the shysters are kind of mixed in with everybody else, so it's hard to recognize them. But before you take any advice from people about creative workarounds, which that just means policy violations, do your homework. Look on eBay and check the rules, or call eBay and say, is this allowed? Because there's no creative workarounds for eBay. It's hard work. It's time consuming. There is no way to streamline the entire process. It's taking pictures and listing. And that's it. It's going to take time to build. Rome was not built in a day. It's taken me since 2003 to build all these businesses I have. And while, of course, it could be done faster, anybody who thinks they can, set up a huge, tremendous eBay business with thousands of products and make, $1 million their first year, I'm sorry. I'm too old-fashioned in my beliefs, and I'm old enough to know that an overnight success usually means a recipe for disaster later. So take your time, build your store carefully, think about what you're doing, build your store intelligently, do the work, be committed, be dedicated, and have fun with it. You got to love it, or you're not going to want to do it every day. You can't just come to eBay and say, this looks like a good place to make $1 million. You have to love the work, or you're not going to be successful. So I know this was long. I'd love your comments about folks you've come across on YouTube. I have been fighting this battle for years. There's so much hype and so much crap and so much misinformation about eBay on the internet. I am trying to be the person to rise above that and actually help people, because I know eBay can be life-changing. I've seen it. It was for me. And I really care about what happens to you guys. I don't want you to get suspended and lose your business because you took bad advice. So, sorry for the rant. Have a great day on eBay. Bye.